Flash, bang, wallop. On the island of Sodor, all the engines are very proud of their railway. They want everyone to know how proudly they puff, how hard they huff, and how cheerfully they chuff. One morning, the engines were at Tidmouth's sheds. Their boilers were bubbling. They were ready to work. Then Sir Topham Hatt arrived.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir Topham Hatt was holding a big book.
I have something to show you all. It is a book called Great Railways. Inside, there are lots of photographs of really useful mainland engines.
The engines whistled with wonder.
Today, a photographer is coming to Sodor. He will take photographs of you all. The photographs will go into Sodor's very own Great Railways book. You all have jobs to do. Puff proudly and huff your hardest. And don't delay. The photographer must leave by tea time.
The engines were very excited.
I hope the photographer will take some photographs of me delivering the mail.
I'll be photographed because I am the brightest red engine on the island.
And I will be photographed because I am the #1 tank engine.
No, Thomas. I will be photographed more than you because I am Gordon. I'm fastest and best and pull the express.
And Gordon puffed grandly away. Thomas was cross.
Gordon won't be photographed more than me. I'll make sure of that. But first, I must hurry to start my jobs at Farmer Trotter's farm.
And Thomas puffed quickly away. Thomas clickety-clacked along the tracks. The pigs from the farm snorted and snuffled. Suddenly, Thomas saw Percy ahead. And he saw the photographer, Thomas's firebox fizz.
The photographer is waiting to take a photograph of Percy. If I hurry, I can be in Percy's photograph.
Thomas pumped his pistons and raced up to Percy. Just as the camera flashed.
Bye, Percy! Flash, bang, wallop!
Percy was so surprised, he bashed and crashed into a siding and straight into a heap of coal.
Flatten my funnel.
But Thomas didn't know. He was too busy feeling pleased with himself. Thomas puffed through Marin Station towards Farmer Trotter's farm. Gordon thundered by with the express. Thomas smiled.
I'm sure Gordon hasn't been in a photograph yet. I must find the photographer again.
Further down the track, Thomas found the photographer. He was waiting to take a photograph of James.
If I wish and whoosh, I can be in James's photograph.
Thomas's wheels whirred. He raced up to James, just as the camera went flash.
Bye, James. Flash, bang, whoa!
James was so surprised, he hit the bumper, and his wheels bounced off the track.
Rattle my rods!
But Thomas didn't know. He was too busy feeling pleased with himself. Thomas chuffed up to Farmer Trotter's farm with the pigs. Gordon steamed by.
I've been in 2 magnificent photographs!
Thomas's boiler bubbled.
I must find the photographer. If I hurry, I will be in more photographs than Gordon.
So Thomas chuffed slowly back towards Tidmouth's sheds. He was looking for the photographer. Then he found him. The photographer was waiting to take a photograph of Henry. Henry was about to go under a bridge.
If I wish and I whoosh, I can be in Henry's photograph.
Thomas rattled and raced towards the bridge, just as Henry was huffing in. Thomas whistled loud and long.
Bust my bumpers, Thomas! Steady on!
The photographer was so surprised he dropped his camera.
Oh no! My camera is smashed.
The photographs are ruined.
Thomas gasped.
Cinders and ashes.
Then Sir Topham Hatt stepped from Henry's cab.
Thomas, what are you doing? I hear Percy's mail cars are derailed. James hit the buffers with his freight cars of flowers. And now the camera is broken.
I'm very sorry, sir. I was racing to be in all the photographs. And now, none of us are in any photographs. And it's all my fault.
I have another camera, but it's at the docks. There isn't time to pick it up now.
Thomas's funnel fizzed.
Yes, there is, sir. I will whoosh like the wind to bring your camera to you in time.
Thomas picked up the camera and pumped his pistons. On the way to the photographer, Thomas saw Percy.
I'm very sorry, Percy. I made you biff into the siding. I have to take this camera to the photographer. Then I will come back and help you.
Then Thomas saw James. James was cross.
I'm very sorry, James. I made you biff into the buffers. I have to take this camera to the photographer. Then I will come back and help you.
The photographer was delighted to have his camera.
Here it is, sir.
Thank you, Thomas.
Now I must go and help my friends Percy and James.
Thomas's pistons pounded. Then Thomas saw Edward and Rocky. Edward was shunting Rocky to Brendam Docks.
Rocky, I need your help. Please, Edward, may I shunt Rocky to rescue Percy and James?
Of course. Happy to help, Thomas.
So Rocky was coupled up to Thomas, and off they raced to rescue James.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Rocky.
Then Thomas and Rocky helped Thomas's best friend Percy.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Rocky.
At last, Thomas chuffed into Tidmouth's sheds. It was late. He was tired.
The photographer has gone home now, Thomas.
I'm sure I was in more photographs than you, Thomas.
Thomas smiled.
I'm sure you were, Gordon. I had to help my friends, and that's more important to me than the photographs.
A few days later, Sir Topham Hatt called his engines to Knapford Station. The photographer was there. He was holding a big book.
This is the book of your railway, sir. Sodor, the Great Railway.
Thank you. I hope it is a book of really useful engines.
Then Thomas gasped.
Bubbling boilers!
The front cover was a picture of Thomas and Rocky rescuing Percy. Thomas puffed to Percy.
You and me, Percy. That's the best photograph of all.